Hi guys, my name is Sonia Singh and I'll welcome you to another episode of Searching Paradise where my goal is to take you a step closer to happiness and your own version of paradise. Today we have our very own first guest. He's a hustler, he's an entrepreneur, he's a husband, a father of a 17-year-old girl and so much more. His book is bestseller right now. Please join me in welcoming him, Mr. Peter Muzik.
You so much. Thank you so much, Peter, for being here with us. And I look forward to having a lot of insights and learning a lot from you. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Sonia. Yeah, thank you
Hi.
very much for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm thrilled.
Yes, me too, actually, because the moment I saw you and we got connected and we were talking off screen, so it was that, I got so many insights from you, and it was so exciting because you come from a different experience and you come from a different industry altogether and different country, of course. So,
Continent.
yeah. So I was so excited to know a lot about you. And can you give us like a little insights for people, to know you more?
Okay, I don't give you the long run, the long story. It's quite boring. No, I give you just a short overview. I'm 56 and married. I have one daughter. She turned 17 last Sunday. She's gorgeous. I can't talk about her because otherwise I don't stop. Um, I'm graduated industrial engineer, was in the corporate world, climbing the ladder. And in 2003, I took a sabbatical, 1 year off. And that was exactly the year when my daughter was born. So, and during this time, I was approached by different people to get into the entrepreneurship, to be self-employed. And I tried this and that. And actually, I did go self-employed. And that's when my second life began, because before it was just like autopilot, going to school, study, having a good job, getting paid well, climbing the ladder, doing all this stuff. But then in 2003, I had enough. That's why I took a sabbatical, and then whole world changed for me. And from that on, my roller coaster started. So I met so many people that I haven't met before, also fraud, also negative things. And it was really a roller coaster because suddenly I experienced extreme difficulties, many setbacks, also financially. It was so tense and it had impact on my relationship with my wife that we almost got divorced. So I have experience getting knocked out, but also I have the experience to stand up one more time. And that's when I was asked to be a co-author with other best-selling authors to write about my story, to write a chapter and to give my experience and expertise in that kind of field. And I did it. So I became really bestseller. And since then, my life changed. And one result is that we get connected and that now I'm on your show. And my thing is, my three words that I want to give people is believe you can, because I think the mindset which is in your between your eyes, your ears, is actually the source of everything. And I've spent, I think, more than 50 years to get all information, to take it like a sponge, and to realize that to get experiences. And now I said it's not really the way I want to live. It doesn't go somewhere I really want to go. I mean, the corporate world was fine. I made a lot of money. Everybody was happy, but the voice inside of me said, there's something wrong. And I didn't contribute to the world. I didn't make a difference. And actually, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to leave a legacy. I want to be a hero for my daughter. She should say, hey, my dad, he did something quite remarkable. And that she sees that everything is possible, and that she also believes that she can, and having this big audacious goals, it's only possible when you're self-employed, and in the right business environment. So this shift towards self-employment, it's not easy. And during the roller coaster path, I've learned so much, getting involved in self-development. Now I'm passionate about mindset, about leadership, about network marketing, and I just want to help millions of people to change their lives to the better, and really make a difference when I'm gone. So my ultimate goal, to say it right up front, is to die empty. What I mean by that is, if I close my eyes, I will have a short flash of like a movie of my life, and then I will have a smile in my face, see my daughter, my family, everyone is happy, and see so many people that are happy that I existed because I changed their lives to the better. So that's what I'm going for, and that's what I'm full in, and that's my mission actually. I'm not there, but I'm on my way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great introduction for at least 3 minutes of that we are in this podcast. And I think people might have got very good insights for now, that as in what we are going to discuss, and how this podcast will be all about. So thank you so much. I think that was really interesting. But something that I want to ask you here is, when you were working, so you worked for quite fair good amount of time. So I want to ask that, did you always knew that you want to be independent? You always want to be an entrepreneur, or as in, what was it like? So did you always knew and you didn't actually go for it, or was it like, over a period of time you developed this?
It was not always on the surface of my mind, but it was in the inner voice. As long as I was climbing the ladder, I was a different person. I was more the taker, everything was transactional. I didn't have empathy, and it was just pure business, like a Wall Street guy, Wolf of Wall Street, just get it done, whatever the cost. Really dangerous characteristics, and it's not really a humble human being with helping other people in mind. So it's always selling services, goods, whatever it may be. But and then I didn't ask myself, do I want to be self-employed? Because I had a very good life, and I almost worked like a self-employed, even when I was employed. So I have always had this kind of freedom to work for myself within a team, but always in a kind of independence. So I didn't really feel that locked into the job. What I hated, the older I got or became, the more independence I wanted. And living with decisions of my boss, even if it's ridiculous, it was getting harder and harder to swallow. And then I said it's not really what I want to do, because even if you fulfill the goals, your annual goals of the company, they are always topping up the next year. They are never satisfied, and even if you give 100, 120, 150%, it's always an extreme tough situation, and they don't care if the economic environment changes dramatically or if it's even possible. So that was one thing, and the other thing was, I didn't really use anything good. It was just business to business, and I didn't even care, not care. I didn't talk to end consumers. It was always corporations to corporations, and so I never really get in touch with the end consumer, and it was almost all the time handling the infrastructures, providing the infrastructures to the corporations that provides the services to the end consumer. So it wasn't really a heart-to-heart business. It was tough, tough, tough. Yeah, like Wall Street. Yeah, if you see Wolf of Wall Street, and that's the kind of thing we were there, and bragging, we are the best, and we conquer the world, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was in that route. I was really from the mind, yeah, we conquer the world. Name me the prize, give me the prize, I buy it. Something like that, and totally arrogant, and actually, when I look back, it's a self-destructing way because
Okay. Okay.
um, you leave the world and you really didn't make a difference because
Mm.
it's I'm replaceable.
Okay.
I'm just a number within the system. So if I do a job good, they are happy. But if not, hey, 1 second later they can have another guy or woman. So that's the thing. And there were several events that made me think and reflect about my life and what I really want to do. So that's how
So
I ended up like this.
yeah. So I have been into sales now for 10 years. That I've all of my career actually. So I've worked in sales and customer service, and I know that if this month you are achieving a certain target, so the next month it's a bit higher, maybe a little bit more, and then a bit more, and then you're always striving, and you work so hard till 30th or 31st, and from first the same conversation start, but it's even more aggressive. So that's something that I can totally relate to, that has been happening, and sometimes I feel that we should really like make some kind of difference at least, so that's why I do this, on like a side hustle sort of thing, that at least I make
Yeah,
some bit of difference, even if I need that job, even if I have that, that for surviving it's fine, but then but then how do I make some difference? How do I at least connect with people, and what can I do to serve people? So this is why I do with podcast or maybe seminars, and then I think it's pretty nice. um, oh,
you are on the
oh,
right path in my mind. I think you do an incredible job, and as far as I've known you, you're really passionate and really professional. It's a cool combination and ambitious. Yeah, and with I think with the right goals, if I may say so, because you can have a goal, but it should also support and help others at the same time, if possible. Yeah, I think that's leading to a fulfilled life.
yeah, I think I would agree with that. And every time I hear Elon Musk also say the same thing, so he just says that you don't have to do something like miraculous, and it doesn't have to be so big. It could be just one small thing that you make people's life easier just by one bit, maybe one app that can help them, make them develop, and help them in any manner, so you are doing something nice and you are on a good path. So maybe if I'm not developing app, at least I'm trying to make their life easier in some sort of way. And for me it's more about emotions, it's more about how do you manage your life, how do you how do you take care of your relationships, and that's more for me. So that's what in that's my interest. So I always look up to someone, and then I see, if they are suffering, why do they suffer, if they have some kind of body positivity problem, or any sort of that, what goes on here. So that's my
Yeah,
focus always.
yeah. The thing is,
So
everybody. Yeah, sorry, I
no,
interrupted.
sorry. So I was just saying that, we always have these moments where you reflect back and you wonder, whatever that you did, was it worth it, and what can you do, because you've had this moment now of reflection. So you change from there, then and there. Maybe it could be disease, or maybe that you just had a setback, and then you got hold of reality. So did you have all these moment of revelation that actually put you in this path that you're on?
I actually had several revelations, but the point is, the setbacks weren't that hard enough that I didn't really hit rock bottom. So I'm a stubborn guy. As I told you, I love marathons, and once I decided to run a marathon, I set out the plan to exercise every day, and I stick to it, and I executed it on a daily basis. So and then I can focus. And running a marathon is similar to running your life. I mean, you don't give up after 1 week and say, "Oh, I'm tired, I can't run a marathon." No, you set the goal and you keep on running and keep exercising. And that's the same thing um, in business and in life. I mean, I'm always focused and committed to fulfill my mission, whatever it is. If it's a project, name it. and then I can really focus. And that's annoying to my wife, because she says she can drop a bomb next to me and I wouldn't recognize it, because I'm so focused and in the topic. And this is a good thing and a bad thing, because I'm a marathon from the mindset. I don't stop with the first challenge. I don't stop with the third challenge. I don't stop when it's the fifth time that something isn't going the way I want it to be. So if my family or friends are saying, hey, this doesn't seem right, these guys look shady, whatever it is, I say, maybe I will find out. And then in the end, maybe they are right. And then I said, hey, you guys, family, you're right. I was wrong. But actually, I found it out myself, you know. But the thing is, they saw it maybe after 30 days and I saw it after 90 days. So sometimes it's very hard for them to keep up with my focus and my commitment, because they say, I'm a nerd, I'm a nuts, whatever they call me, but no, but they love me anyway. So that's
Yes,
the
there's
thing,
that
you
point.
know. And during my life journey, I was approached by different people to get engaged with different business opportunities, and I tried them. And with the first obstacle, I didn't stop. And if you add up these possibilities, yeah, time goes by and extremely fast. So when I think about 2003 to now, I had extreme financial troubles, and I was much more in debt. I'm still in debt, but not as much as I was. Um, other guys would give up, say, hey, my life is over, but it's not the case. And the thing is, I thought always, this is embarrassing, and it's a disgrace for me and for my family, and to put them into jeopardy. And meanwhile, I know all these setbacks had to happen to humble me, and to become a better person. One thing, to become empathic, to feel really empathy for other people, to understand their struggles. And meanwhile, all my setbacks are my crown jewels, my toolbox, my box of experience. So I can really relate to almost everybody, because it's hard to find someone who hasn't had a similar setback as I had. At least it's a large variety of people I can relate to. Meanwhile, and that's really, I perceived it as a weakness in the past, but meanwhile I see it as the biggest strength for going
Okay.
after my dreams and goals.
Okay. So, so you say a lot about that you learned all these things when you were running, and then maybe through life you learned all these things. But what was that one thing that really inclined you towards self-help or maybe development and to look for that strength within? So, what was it, and how did you get into it?
Um, I got into self-development consciously when I first joined network marketing. I joined a company years ago. I don't know exactly when, but I was only there for 3 months. But what stuck with me was um, the area of self-development. I felt this is fascinating. This is really helping. That was a complete different world to everything I experienced before. Because before it was just school, studies, seminars, um, workshops from the company, and nothing beyond. That was a really limited thing. And now the world really opened up to me, and I saw things, experienced things, learned new things I've never heard before, and that was fascinating. So from that moment on, I kept on going, read a lot of books, and especially a lot of audio, a lot of video, um, followed different guys, not hundreds, but a bunch of people. Jim Rohn is one, of course. you can't go into self-development without hearing Tony
Yes.
Robbins.
Yeah.
So there's a circle of giants, I call it, within that self-development space. You need to read, to hear, to see them. And fortunately, with YouTube, it's almost available for whatever they produce. And so I got into this. And since I'm involved in network marketing, even if I didn't build a business so far with the new company, it's really the field I want to be, and I feel I was born to, because that's actually the environment I can not extremely, I can do what I want to do, help other people, and get the rewards also. It's a saying: give first and get second. Give and you will be given, and that's exactly what I try to do. And so I started to post every day on my Facebook page and Instagram, and even by little posts, I get sometimes a comment and say, "Hey, thank you. That was eye-opening for me," and I really didn't recognize, but I know maybe I didn't know you before, but if you see the world, um, there may be one who can think about what I posted and say, "Hey, that's exactly what I needed to unlock my whatever it is." Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is very true because the moment you said this, I can relate to an experience that happened. So when I was just trying to start up these seminars and my podcast, so I had a lot of doubts stating that I'm not ready enough. Maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I don't have enough content to even start off with,
Yeah.
and I kept thinking all of these excuse. I wouldn't call it as an excuse because I was not giving an excuse, but it's just that I was not believing in myself, okay, because I have not done that. So what happened, that same day I was just going through somebody's WhatsApp status, and that person has posted stating a very famous quote that uh, a lot of intelligent people doubt themselves while a lot of stupid people are running around freely.
That
Okay.
sounds good.
And I thought, okay, I'm not stupid for sure. So, maybe this is the moment that I stopped questioning, I stopped doubting, and, like, let's just try, let's just go out and see what is possible. And I think that's when I started doing it. And I actually texted that person stating that, thank you so much. And I needed this. And of course, they didn't understand the kind of emotion that I was coming from, but it was really helpful.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yeah. So, as we are talking about people who inspired us, so yes, Tony Robbins is one, and I think you cannot learn self-help and self-development without Jim Rohn. Who else did you look up to? Who else did you learn from?
Darren Hardy is one. Then Matt Morris, Steve Morland. There are a bunch. I mean, John Maxwell, for example, regarding leadership. And
Oh, wow.
there's a kind of people. I call them the classics. They are much older than I am, but they invented or brought the self-development area into the public view. And
Yeah.
these are, most of the time, they are coming from the States, and that's it. And if you look around Europe and other places, the source is always coming from there. So, or at least today, and it's evolving. So that's the area where I'm coming from. Yeah.
So I started listening somewhere from Jim Rohn, and I used to like sit there, and he has his recorded lectures for an hour, almost hour, or maybe more. So I used to like sit there, and I used to make notes of it, and I still remember those notes, because it has helped me a lot. And then Tony Robbins, of course. So I have his whole notes, and I can always go back and refer to. And then have you tried listening to Napoleon Hill? He's pretty good, and
Ah, yeah,
I think I
sure.
have.
I have the
I
books
love the
here.
way he
Yeah.
sings the videos I mean, he has this beautiful groggy voice and deep, and these people seem to know what they're talking about. So every time you listen to them, they're like, they know their thing, and then but you better listen to them. So it's something like that. And then Bob Proctor is still there, and then
Okay.
he's pretty famous about it. And then he talks a lot about paradigm shift and attention and focus and imagination. So I think
These
these
are
are
the
few
guys I also read in here. You're absolutely right. And
yeah.
regarding Napoleon Hill, of course, I have the books here, the old version, and the new version translated to the new technology in this 21st century. So, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think and I think a lot of people, even if they know, if they so everybody seemed to know about Rich Dad Poor Dad and How to
Yeah,
Influence
Robert.
People. These
Yeah.
are few famous books that are there, and everybody have seen the covers. Everybody has seen it in every book place or library that you go to. But I don't think so. People like really dig into it because there's a lot of gem that is there inside those books. And if you just start with one place, I would say then you cannot stop because you are revealed to this new universe that you are not aware of,
Yeah.
and it just pulls you towards it. But where do you think that even after so much of self-help, even after it has been there for so many years now, where do you think people are not able to start, or maybe where do you think they are stuck? So how does it work? I sometimes wonder.
How they get involved into self-development?
So basically, what I was thinking was, so like we started from somewhere, like you started from somewhere, and
Okay.
I started from somewhere, and then I
Okay.
have a lot
Got
of
it.
friends who are still not aware of all these things. So it's not the lack, it's not that there's not enough resource for us, but there has to be like a bigger reason for people to not approach that way. Do you think it is because they don't give important to themselves about it? What do you think can be the reason?
I think that the majority of people live in, I call it the gray zone. Meaning it's not too bad enough, but it's not so great enough. They say, yeah, it could be better. I would love to stay in the Ritz in wherever. But hey, I have a good life. It's comfy, comfortable. It's all right. My relationship is okay. And yeah, it's the twilight zone, yeah, gray zone, where it's not good, not bad. So they are not really forced to think about their life and what they are doing. So they half sleepwalk through their life. And everyone I know who's a big achiever, who is on the way on their path that they choose, everybody has had a setback and a moment. I call it a moment of truth, where they had to decide what's going on in my life. Do I want to stay where I am? Don't don't do anything about it, or do I change? And the achievers, of course, they said, I want to change. I've had enough. Enough is enough. And the same happened to me. I mean, it's an embarrassing moment because you have to be true to yourself first, and that's a tough a tough thing, to be true to yourself. You look into the mirror and don't see the image you want to see, but you see really through the image and see your heart and what's really your inner voice is telling you. That's a frightening, embarrassing moment. At least for me, it was an embarrassing moment. And I said, no, I don't give up. I'm still crazy to have dreams and goals, and I want to impact the world. I don't want to leave this planet without an impact, and I don't give up. So I can't change the past. I should learn it from it, but I can't change it. And what can I do? And then self development comes into place. And then, fortunately, through network marketing, You know, it's like reading the books. You said Bob Proctor, Napoleon Hill. If you read one, you get automatically to the next one, whoever it may be. But it's like you go to a party and you talk to someone, and they are all like-minded people. And if it's good fun and you feel good, then you meet the next one, and it's a natural process. And that's the one thing. And it's always in a moment where you hit rock bottom, where you have to decide where you want to go, where there's no gray zone anymore. There's only, I want to be not so dramatic, but live or die. You know, it's, there's no in between. I said I want to fight. Rather, I'm willing to lose, but I don't give up. You know, I don't want to live in that gray area, in the gray zone. I want to provide to my wife and give her the best life ever. And she supported me all my life, as long as I know her. And my child, she should see, hey, it's possible. I don't have to fit into whatever the society thinks I have to fit in. And the source is really hitting rock bottom and having this defining moment, and to ask yourself, is this really what I want to do? Why did I mess up so many times? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And the best thing is, and it's hard, acknowledge that you messed up. It's one thing. The second thing is that you are alone, at least for a couple of hours or a day, how long it takes, and then just hear to your inner voice, because this inner voice, everybody has an inner voice, something that's talking to you. And if you hear what your inner voice is telling you, you know exactly what you want. And then write it down, and then you figure out a way. You know, I was there once at a party. I thought that guy is cool. So you get in touch with these people who are already there where you want to go. And then you start. That's the first step. But the first action step. But before the first action step, it's the internal game. You have to master this internal game. And this internal game never stops, because we are programmed from birth until we are adults, do this, do this, do this. And we often get said, no, 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 X times more no's than yes, you can do it. You know, and my defining moment was when I was beaten, when I was really hit rock bottom, and I didn't know what to do. And actually, I found really fast what I want to do, because I listened to my voice, and then I made a decision. And from that on, it was getting better. I had a clear vision, because you need a clarity, you need a clear vision where you want to go. Otherwise, it's fuzzy. You don't really know. It's like a ping pong. Yeah, you don't know where you want to go. You need really a destination. If you want to sail from Europe to New York, you know the coordinates, and then you sail. And even if there's a storm coming up, you know where you are going, because you can navigate to New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you completely. And also, I wanted to, because you've already covered this part, where I actually wanted to ask you, how can a person start? And you've already told that, it's about
Sorry.
acknowledgement.
Yeah, it's tough. It's also described in the first chapter of my book, because the first thing is to be true to yourself. And I'm convinced, and I truly believe, that I'm only of value for other people. I can contribute to my relationship, to my wife, to my daughter, to friends, to other people I don't know yet, if I'm in alignment with myself, if I'm doing what I really truly believe, and when I'm authentic, if I don't hide anything, if I don't pretend to be someone I'm not. And yeah, it took me 5 decades to get into this transition. don't worry. You can start this when you're 20 or even 15, 16. I mean, my daughter turned 17. She already has the brain of the status that I have. So, because I'm old school, I'm born, there was no internet. I had to learn the hard way. So, and there was no YouTube. And yeah, that's the reason why it took me so long, because I'm so stubborn. And my roller coaster started when I was, I think 40 or something. Yeah.
Think, yeah, I would also agree because now you can just go up to YouTube and you can just type some kind of motivational video, or maybe just type motivational video and it'll show
Yeah.
you something nice. And there are so many channels, like Impact Theory is one of them that I constantly listen to, and Ed Milet is another one that post a lot of videos about it. Then if you listen to David Goggins, my God, every time I hear I get scared because the way he is so hard, and like the moment you listen to him or like watch any of his videos, I get scared because I know I'm not doing up to my potential, and I'm like, okay, if this guy met me, then he would have beat he would beat the shit out of me, saying, "What are you
Yeah, yeah.
doing?" And so I've just started reading his book now, and his book is Can't Hurt Me, and I think it's amazing what he shows is. Have you tried reading his book or any of his videos?
I'm smiling because I bought it 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, and if I when I bought it, I also bought the other one, Total Responsibility or something, willing. What's his name? I post once and then quotes of him. Uh, yeah, both extreme guys. And if you saw how he was, a couch potato, a big guy, and he made a decision. I want to go to the Marines, and then 3 months later, he passed the test, and wow, and then he accomplished much more, and now
He
it's
lost
it's a
about
totally different world.
more than 100 kgs, and the way he is, and he had this bad ankles, and he had a lot of physical pain that he had to go through, and he did the they call it
Ultra
hell week,
marathon,
hell week, actually, sorry,
Hell Week,
hell
yeah.
week, for at least, I think he did it for 3 times. If I'm not wrong, so he did it 3 times, and the moment I heard it, I was like, okay, that
I
is
mean,
something, and it
yeah,
really
yeah.
inspires. So if
He's a
somebody
tough guy.
can, he is a tough guy. I would say that.
You also see it in the book when you see the pictures of his thumbs, when they are bleeding, and you say, oh yeah, that was an ultra marathon.
Oh, yeah, he talks
Do
about
you
ultra
remember?
marathon also. Yeah. I know it was crazy. But where do you think, as in, everybody has this, like he's also a human. Okay, maybe we might not be as great as him, but we can do something better than what we are
Yeah,
already doing. So you
yeah.
always talk about focus, that you have a lot of focus within yourself, and where can somebody start developing that focus? Where do you think it comes from, and what is the best way to like implement it in your life?
Um, the best thing is that you start developing habits, and because habits, that's the thing that runs you on an autopilot basis. And habits you can develop them, and after 30, 90 days, it's a habit. You don't have to think about it. And it's quite easy. You can start with making your bed first in the morning. It's a little simple thing, but if you've done it, you've accomplished the first task.
Yeah, I think the Navy
Um,
SEAL guy gives this in his speech. It's a very
yeah,
famous
he
speech
confirmed it.
that.
Yeah. I got it from my military service, 18 months, when I was 18 or 7, yeah, 18.
Okay.
So it was the first task we had to do, and it still is there. And that's one thing. The problem is that many people start with wanting too much too fast. Um, waking up at 4:30, like Willink is saying, uh, it, he also says, whenever you start or wake up, do it every day at that time. I mean, that's one thing. Um, make, okay, making too many things in a short period of time, that doesn't work. I mean, if you want to start running, yeah, for example, make the bed first. If you want to start running, haven't done it before, just walk around the block, as Jim Rohn says, and do little snippets, but not in the same week. Start, for example, doing your bed first week. If you've done it on a consistent basis, clap you on the shoulder and do the next step on top. Because the thing is, the psychological thing is, if you have accomplished something, this gives you positive energy. And this positive spiral goes up. And then if you've done something good, you want to keep on moving this spiral upwards. And you ask for the next task naturally. So do the first task for 1 week. Then you know by the end of the week, you want the next one because it feels good that you accomplish it. You stayed consistent during this week with that. And then you do the second one. For example, making a cup of coffee for your spouse, for your friend, or tea, whatever it is, and do it on a consequent basis. And then you had two things, and then you want the next. And so it starts. And if you do it 90 days, it's a ritual, it's a habit. And you don't have to think about it because it's imprinted here in your mind. And the same way, you should get rid of toxic habits. Netflixing the whole night is nice, but it doesn't help you to pursue your dreams and happiness. So if you consume 10 hours of Netflix per day, reduce it to 8. I don't say reduce it to 0 overnight. It's not possible, but train yourself, limit yourself to 6 hours first week. Next week to 4 hours. And if you see it's possible, then you get there to 0. I mean, you don't have to go to 0. You can have a cheat day or free day on Sunday or whenever it is that you can eat what you want, do what you want, just relax, chill, Netflix, whatever it is. But the thing is, don't stress yourself. Do the very first step and keep on doing it. That's the essential key. And if you do it and you only cheat yourself, and you know when you cheat yourself. So if you don't cheat yourself, you know that you didn't cheat. That's the thing. And you don't have to tell the world. You don't have to tell the world, hey, I made my bed. That's silly. I mean, you reward yourself. Hey, I did my bed the last 7 days, the last 7 mornings. And it's good because when you want to go to bed, it's already done. And this is the first step. And you give yourself a commitment, you give yourself a task, a goal, and it should be a small one that you can digest and really handle. And then if you've done it successfully, naturally the next one will come up. And the thing is, if you put on the next, the goals get bigger and bigger. So then you're on the path to success. It's inevitable. Yeah.
I think, yeah, and habit makes a lot of as to who we are as a person. So, it's really important that you develop good habits and, discard the ones which is not serving you. So for me, like, I was not really familiar with gym, and then, all of a sudden, then I started loving it, and then, now I'm kind of addicted to it. But then, it just starts with like one single step. So there's this person that I used to train with, and he was pretty overweight, and he's a 40 plus year old you know guy. And he said, Sonia, the moment I started working out, I told myself I will only go to gym for 5 minutes and I'm going to come back. And the moment he steps in, so of course you're not going to go for 5 minutes and waste your time and then come back. So you will work. So the next day same thing, next day same thing, and that's how you develop. And when you look at him now, I think you cannot even say that he's that old. So yeah, I think. But so now that you've done so many things in your life, do you think, do you still like, of course you're making goals and you want to go somewhere and you want to do even more bigger things than what you're doing. So is there a point in life that you will have like, okay, this is a good moment life, and then I have got that success. So do you think you ever experienced that, okay, this is
That I
success?
stopped with goals or something like that? Never. I've always had goals, always throughout my life. If I had a goal and I reached it, achieved the goal, um, I already had another goal. It's always like this. Before I really achieved the current goal, uh, I had the next project in mind, the next goal in mind. So it's a never-ending process. And the thing is, if you really do what you love and if you're passionate about it, there's no limitation. I mean, you can't hardly accomplish every goal you want. So you don't run out of goals, of dreams. Never ever. It's impossible.
But I want to honestly ask you this question. So, a lot of us are just going around, going about in our life without even knowing that, what kind of goal should we be setting for ourselves? Or do you think that, do they even need some kind of goals? Of course, everybody needs goal, but how? So we always say that if you know what do you love and, you find your purpose and all these things, but how do you even start from finding your purpose? Where do you think that start point comes from?
That's a very good question. It took me ages to find out what I think and believe what I'm here on planet Earth. Um, the thing is, because we were born and raised in a certain way, we don't really think about it. Normally, as a child or a young adult, you're asked, what do you want to become? What job do you want to have? Lawyer, doctor, la 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 la. And these are the normal questions. If my daughter asked me, hey, at school they asked, what do you want to become? I said, be happy more of the time. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah, and do something good at the same time. That doesn't mean that you suffered. I mean, you need enough money to get around, to not have fear, not to make it to make ends meet. And I just forgot the question because I was thinking of my daughter. Sorry. Oh Lord.
No,
Oh
I
God.
wanted to ask, how does one find their purpose? Where do you
Ah,
think it starts from?
you see, my daughter is not here and she's distracting me. I don't know, blame. Um, the only way is to try different things and to find out. Without trying, you don't find out. I mean, when I had a sabbatical and I was approached with friends and different business opportunities, I didn't know, is it for me? Is it not for me? And it was not for me. But before not trying to get into it, you can't really say it's for you or it's not for you. It's a process. You can't say, oh, I got it. It doesn't work like this, you know. You have to try. And the fun part is, if you are young, you have all the time. I mean, yeah, I talk of my daughter. I said, hey, you can do whatever you want to 25, 28, 30. You can try as many things you want to try, because you don't have a family. You don't have responsibility to feed the family or whatever. Um, and why should you? I mean, that's the time when you should experience everything or try to get to know what you really want to do. I mean, when not then, when then? I mean, yeah, I was sleepwalking, climbing the ladder, la la la. And then when I turned 50, I had that shift. I had that shift because maybe it was because of the number 50. It's a strange number. And when I was more conscious, and then with network marketing, I think, and the self-development environments, I really found out in the end what it is. But it's there's no one single way to say, hey, this is the path for you. Because I can tell, hey, Sonia, that's that's your dream, that's your goal, that's your fulfillment, that's where you are, where you find happiness and gratitude, whatever it is. And I can't do it. It can't be installed into one other human being. It has to come from inside. As everything, the success comes from inside. I mean, everything starts within you, and so it's also, what do you really want to do? Yeah, that's really, what do you want to do, and you can only find out if you try different things. I mean, you, for example, you said, I want to do a podcast. You were embarrassed or afraid, so you did it anyway. That's the way to find out. And I think you do a pretty damn good job, so stick with it. I think it's really what you want to do. That's my feeling I have from the previous conversations. But you can't know before you don't do it. You know, I mean, even if I recommend to you maybe 1 year ago, hey, I think you should do that. That's exactly what you want to do. That doesn't work like that, because that's not your inner voice. I can't hear your inner voice. I can't hear what your true inner beliefs, your personal beliefs, hopes, and dreams are. That's only a thing that you can answer. I can show you ways, paths, strategies, tactics, ways to go there, but the very first step has to be yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm Sonia. Who am I? Huh? Who am I? Is it really who I am, who I want to be? Am I there? Am I far beyond that image I want to have? That's it.
Yeah. I
Try and error. That's the only way. You can't read books. You can't make push-ups reading books. You have to do it by yourself, you know? The same in the gym. You can't lift weights by reading a book. I mean, okay, you can lift the book, but really going to the gym, you have to do it. I can't
yeah.
say I'm running a marathon and send my wife to do it if she hasn't done it. Even if she has done it, it's not me. I want to finish. Yeah, I want to be the finisher, walking through the finish line, and that's the motivation, knowing that's the goal. That's, I want to have the feeling, the visualization. I want to finish that finish line. I have the feeling, hey, full of energy, adrenaline, and I've done it. And you have to do the work to get there, but only you can say it. I mean, deciding to run a marathon, for example, was because I wanted to do it while I was running, because I'm running just for fun, you know. But while running, I had, why don't I do a marathon? I mean, it would be a natural goal, a bigger goal than normally. But that's how it comes, and you can only find out when you go out there and try. And that's tough because it depends on your situation. You need to take food on the table. I've messed up so many times. Without my wife, I would be under the bridge, you know, living there and begging for money or whatever. Would be on a dark place. But my wife is the coolest guy on earth, and with an extreme big heart, and she helps not just me, everybody. That's her character trait, you know, and that's a big thing. Yeah, but
Yeah, I
only
think
trying
it's
and find out.
think it's extremely rare to find someone like that and to stick by and then, go through life with that person. I think it is extremely important. And just in case, I would say that even if you've not found that person as yet, I would say be that person for yourself at least. Like I am alone right now, so not alone. I would say, I mean, I am by myself. Is what I always think of. So even when there's nobody supporting me, I think I'm gonna support myself no matter what. And I
I
think
think
I will
Sandy
do a
said it.
better
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Yeah. So that is always there. So what do you think that so what was the experience that you went through when you were running for a marathon, and what all did you learn when you were doing it? So you must have learned. So it's
Ah,
always like life experience that we compare it to.
oh yes, it was a big lesson for me. Um, I also described it in the chapter in the book. So the thing was, once I decided, okay, I run a marathon, then when the decision was made, the next step was to keep me accountable. And how do I keep myself accountable? I registered to the marathon because I had to pay a fee to be allowed to it, entrance fee. And so I knew I paid, I have to go there. That's the date, the time when the marathon happens. So the next thing was planning, getting the thing is, that's the goal. I'm a top down guy, meaning there's the goal, and then I get every step down until I have the details. Yeah, for me, the daily methods of operation and the daily routine. And then I said, okay, marathon. I have so many months ahead to train for that. And what time do I want to finish? And then I took books, said, okay, that's the time I want to finish. What does it mean per month, per week, per day? And then I just translated this guidance into my daily life and executed it. And that was the planning and the planning part, and turning this plan into daily actions. And then the next thing is the habits. Actually, to do it, to do the work. And that's not funny because there's not always sunshine. It's raining in Switzerland. Sometimes there's snow, sometimes a little bit hill. And it's not always fun to run and to exercise. But I kept doing it. I said, I want to run, I want to finish. And the visualization that I've crossed the finish line with that feeling, full of emotions, with that kind of pride. I did it. I really did it. And um, that helped me to stay consistent and focused. And I keeping track, of course, because it's not just doing the daily method. Track your numbers. As Jim Rohn says, everything boils down to a number, whatever it is. How many sales calls did you do? How many weights did you lift? And in that case, did you run? How many kilometers did you accomplish? Exactly what you plan to accomplish. So to keep track, and this is exactly what it helps to stay on course, to navigate through the obstacles. And yeah, after a while, when you crossed half of the period that's left for the marathon, then you say, wow, time really flies. And then you get more motivation to keep on track because the date, the marathon date is coming closer and closer. And then, of course, the only way to stop and give up is if you are hurt or injured in a physical way. And that's the way it starts. And this analogy, marathon, also is transferable to your business life or to your private life. I compared my marathon experience from the moment I decided to run a marathon until I really finished the marathon, compared to my previous um, self-employed entrepreneurship life where I messed up, and I saw very well, crystal clear, where I messed up. So one thing was that I found out is there was a lack of clarity. There was no clear vision. In the marathon world, the mission, the goal was clear, crystal clear. So from this clear vision, it was possible to track down every step to a daily method of operation, to daily exercises. In the business world, it wasn't. It was so fuzzy. Not really this, not really that, and because of this fuzzy goal, it turned out to fuzzy actions or not actions, more not actions than actions. And so I saw really the difference, and I closed the gap and said, oh, okay, that's why I messed up. That's why I was behind my goals. That's why I'm far behind my promises. You know? And that helped me. And of course, what really was a game changer was being a co-author with other great authors in the book, and which forced me to think about my life, because I said, who am I to write a book? I'm not done. I'm not at the pinnacle of my goals. I think it's when it's you write a biography or a success story when you've done it, when you can show it. And they said, no, 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 no. That's all thinking. That's not what we are looking for. We are looking for guys who get knocked down several times, yeah, who got hit really bad. But the thing is, you have to stand up one more time, and you're a good example of doing that, and moving on, and then not losing your passion and your fun and your energy just because you got knocked down 100 times. Okay, exaggerating, but it's not just one time, it's twice or three times. I got knocked out several times, and that's the kind of guys we are looking for. I said, and I was thinking about that statement, and I thought, yeah, it's true. And that also was the reason why I saw, hey, all my failures, all my flaws, all the thing that I did wrong in the past, actually that has to be, that was a message from God to become humble, to have a real variety of toolbox that can provide value to people, because I'm not writing from another author, speaker. I can relate to them, and combined with my experiences, I can make my personal message. I can relate to people and understand them, and help them to overcome the challenges they have. And that's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of revelation that one person can have. And so something that I want to ask, so we always have this habit of looking at us and then reflecting back. So something that I want to ask here is, so the person that you've become right now, what advice would you like to give to your 20-old self, 20, 25, maybe, someone like that? Where do you think that, what advice could you give?
That's a tough one. It's twofold. Um, yeah, it's a tough question. I tell you why. Because if I told the things I know right now, with the mindset right now, when I was 20, so 36 years ago, that would be great if I would have the mindset and experience, but it's impossible, because you need time to gain experiences. But what I would have done were two things. The money I had at that time, invest what Tony Robbins recommends to do. That's one thing regarding the financial side. But on the other side, going full in with self-development and network marketing business right from the beginning, and not studying at all, because it was just, I always said it was the last bastion of freedom for a young adult to study before you are locked down or locked up in a job, you know. And at that time it was totally different to nowadays. And it was just, I saw the study just as an entry ticket for the corporate world, because with a degree you can do whatever you want to do. It's sad, but it's still reality in many big corporations, you know. And I would skip that. I would just go do everything I do right now, right from the beginning, and get into network marketing, and to have a living, have a low paid job where I don't have to think a lot, don't have stress, much stress, don't have to fulfill any targets, you know. Um, don't get me wrong, not to trash jobs, just to have enough money to pay the bills, your rent, your food, just to survive, you know, and to be able to develop your network marketing business, because that's the long-term goal. That would be my long-term goal for the rest of my life. That's actually the goal for my rest of the life. I want to do it until I die, because this means in this business, in this environment, it means learning, 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 because I think I'm a leader and I want to become the biggest leader possible, that they say, who is Tony Robbins? Yeah, who is the guy next to Tony Robbins? No, you know what I mean. To become really great, you need to learn on a constant basis. You can't stop, and you don't want to stop. And that's only possible in that profession, because the more you learn, the more you can give to your leaders, to everyone in your organization, and to other people's worldwide. Oh, my English, worldwide. Yeah? I talk too much too fast. Yeah. That's what I would have told to myself when I was 20. Spend your money, what Tony Robbins said, and second, keep a low profile job that doesn't suck your energy, that you can't do anything else, and go into network marketing. That's my thing. That's not in general for everybody, but for me, because there are so many things you can do. You can earn money, you can provide so many good things for other people, and you can develop yourself and help. That's amazing. And yeah, that's what I would have said. But to make the point, first, I wouldn't have met my wife yet. The second, I wouldn't have the experience, because in the first half of my life, first half of the game, I was more of a giver, a taker. Yeah, I was always transactional, and really on a path of being an arrogant whatever, and that's not a positive character trait. You know, it was not about helping other people, and it was always egocentric, and that's not a way that the world should be. I mean, there are so many examples regarding egocentric leaders. It's unfortunate, but I'm not standing for it, and I want to do everything in my power to make the world better and to help people, because hey, face it, maybe someday we are 10 million, maybe 12 billion people on planet Earth, and we need to help each other to survive. So or another way. And I come from a mindset of abundance, so I want to give because I'm confident. The more I give, the more it's coming back. Also, you know, it's also a kind of selfish thing, because it feels good to give and know you did something good. I mean, before in corporate world, I did something and I said, yeah, I hit my targets and I get a commission. That's good. But it didn't really help an individual. It didn't really a human being that I can see, I can relate to, I can talk to. It was anonymous. Now it's totally different, and I can get instant feedback, and that's a totally different ball game.
Yeah, I think I understand that. So something that you're talking about meeting your my wife and going through that whole experience of it. So if I may ask, I want to ask. So you and your wife have been together for quite some time, and then you must have
Yeah.
gone through your own ups and downs. So and you as a person have changed. So you must be working by then, and then you chose to be an entrepreneur and find your own way and then set new goals and do your own thing in your life. And I'm sure she must have also gone through a lot of changes in her life. So how do you guys find a balance in a relationship? Because what happens is the moment you start changing, there is a possibility that the your partner might be very hesitant to it, and that's where the differences start coming in. So how do you handle that kind of situation and the changes that you go through in life on different stages, and how do you like take them along into the new adventures that you set out to?
Okay. Um, Maybe it helps if I talk about when this transition started, because it was during my sabbatical in 2003. That was also the year when my daughter was born. So my wife was pregnant. I did nothing at it during this year, except trying this and that and deciding to become an entrepreneur without knowing exactly in which field and what I'm good at. No idea, but I knew I had to do something. Um, from her perspective, if I see it from now, it's very scary because you are pregnant, there's coming a baby, and now your husband goes to uncharted territory, in the unknown. And we both didn't know where it's going because she only knew me as an sales and marketing guy in a big corporation. Successful, yes, but entrepreneur, self-employed, what's your expertise? Yeah. And but the thing was, she had trust that I will figure it out and make it happen. um, and I stressed her really out several times because I tried different things and they turned out as a disaster. Also, our finances deep plunged and got from positive to extreme negative. And money is a stress factor. It's, I think, when I read correctly, it's number one source for divorces, and it put a lot of stress. So that was also a reason why I took two jobs for a short period of time during my roller coaster as an entrepreneur. Um, Having said that, at one point we were close to a divorce. Um, the only thing that really helped us was when I was true to myself first, that I discovered that I was a really screw up, a mess without any words, that I really screwed up so many times, offended so many friends, lost many friends, and to have the courage to go to her and say, hey, I really messed up, and you were right. It's not that she didn't warn me, this is not going the way you said, or why didn't you do that? You said this, but you didn't do that. And she was the accountability partner during the time, but she was there, but I didn't listen. I listened, but I didn't really hear and understand. And once I understood myself, then I came back to her and said, yes, you are right, and I'm sorry. And the thing is, if you want to repair your marriage or your relationship at all, is to be real to yourself and not to pretend to be someone else. I mean, the only thing that makes you successful in our world is if you are authentic and real, and not photoshopped, not brushed, not fake. And the thing is, it starts within you. That's the one thing. And the next thing is, not the thing is, your partner, in this case my wife. And even then, it's hard work, because if I screwed up so many times over so many years, it's not just blinking and then it's one talk and it's happy chappy happy life. No, not at all. It's a process. um, Even if she trusts me, it takes a while to regain this complete trust of the state before. It's there, the love is there, but the pain, it's not just the pain and failure of myself. She felt it too, and she brought the food on the table, when I messed up, and she did it. She was the stone in at the beach, and that's one other reason, because I said, hey, I'm accomplishing my goal, because I want to give you a life that no one else can give you. Because you deserve it, and she's incredible. But the thing is, being real and true to each other, and that's a tough part, because then nothing seems so sexy, nothing seems so cool, and like in the commercials on TV or on Facebook or wherever it is, where they don't have problems, and if there's a problem, 5 seconds or one pill and it's gone. No, it takes work. It takes really work and honesty, and to say, hey, I screwed up, but to show that you're really working on it. And that's one recommendation I can give. I mean, she can talk to you hundreds of hours, and tell you how I screwed up, how I messed up, how she felt, but in the end, I love her, and I know that she loves me too, and it's a long process. It's as long as it was messed up with my actions, it's also a long way, because when you are hurt and frustrated, it doesn't get on the 100% level overnight, not at all. I prove it, that I'm worthy for her love, and that I'm worthwhile, that she stick with me all the time, because I mean, she's an attractive lady and she's really cool, and she could have had plenty of other guys, said, oh, leave me alone, go and chase your dreams, you whatever. And I have a life. I don't want to be um, confronted with these kind of issues, and that's, yeah, she's
But
extremely
I think
cool.
it takes a enormous amount of courage for you to even accept what was going on and take accountability that you messed up, and then you want to fix it, and then you actually worked on it, and then you had to prove her, and then things worked out fine. And I think
That's,
for most
yeah,
people, they're always afraid of even admitting that something was wrong. They would rather go in different direction, and they would like start a new thing. Okay, like whatever, that that is possible. And I think that's the easier way out to do something also. But it's not about easier way out, because in real life it doesn't really, no easier life can be chosen. Somebody's gonna get hurt, so rather be that you work things out and figure out what can you do and take actions on it.
exactly.
So
And the other thing is, you need a support system, or a group of people that support you in the direction where you want to go. I mean, through the authorship, we have a kind of author family. All the authors see each other via a conference call, and we do things about writing, about self-development, and topics like that, and we help each other and support each other. And this also helps everyone to become more. And if you want to change, you need to associate yourself with minimum one guy who is going in the same direction as you want to go, or already there where you want to go, and you need a kind of accountability partner. It doesn't have to be here. I have one, for example, who lives in Canada, and we said we have a call every week, and I said, hey, just start when I'm in Berlin, and then we start. But this is a kind of possibility you should look for. Um, Not to say, hey, what's the weather, whatever. No, you said, for example, I'm doing this next week, and then you meet, and then you ask each other, how was the week? Did you do this and this and this? Really accountability partner. That's one possibility to stay on track. My recommendation is to go into a group to find like-minded buddies, because it's a hard and tough journey, and especially when you are alone and your family and friends don't see where you want to go, or think you're crazy or totally nuts, and you destroy yourself and your family. I mean, my experience also is that the closer the relationship, comments disapproval, and you just have to get rid of this down negative down spiral, and that's only possible if you associate yourself with others.
I think that's the way you handle adversity also. So no matter what challenges do you have, so it's just about your mindset and what can you do in that moment is what is more important. And if you have like a very good friend circle or support circle, I would say not necessarily friend circle, but if you have a good support circle, it can be people around the world, and then if they can share ideas and lift you up and give you feedbacks, I think that is very important to move forward and have something like that in your life. So
Yeah,
like I am sitting here and I would say that any of my friends wouldn't understand what I am doing, and I'm okay with that because I don't really need someone to understand what I'm doing, because I have a bigger purpose to do it and I have bigger reasons to do it. But what helps me is people like you and people like who would be willing to help me out, like when I'm conducting my seminar. So whoever is there to help me, so that
yeah,
really helps. I feel that okay, I will go through this and I will do good. So I think that it is very important to find that support circle and stick by it and just be there.
that's it exactly. And the thing is, when you're in that group, you evolve, you develop. It's not a status quo. It's not static thing. It's all dynamic. It's all in growing mode. And I always say, grow or die, because nature shows you, and whether it's growing or it's dying. And I choose to
Is
grow,
that
whatever it is.
is that survival of the fittest that you're saying?
Pardon?
Survival of the fittest, is it something similar to that?
Yeah,
Going, yeah, okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, actually, that is true. So I'm going to ask you something else also. So I was just thinking, since you have such a great relationship with your daughter, so if I'm going
I
to talk,
think
okay, so I'll have to interview her also, asking what do you think your dad is doing?
it depends, like waves.
Yeah. So, you will remember all about when she was born, what was the situation, what were you doing, and when she was 2 years, 3 years, and then 5, and then 12, and then now she's just turned 17 now.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
well, I'm sure it's like a great journey to experience. But what do you think to see a child grow in front of you, and then you because you are already experiencing your life. So I would be like super careful as to how I speak to the baby, or how what kind of values am I putting into, and what kind of self confidence that I'm providing them, and nurturing and support and connection. So, do you think you had all that knowledge, and how did you manage to bring her up?
No, I don't think that I had all the knowledge. Not at all. I mean, we got pregnant, my wife and I, and that was just fantastic. And we know exactly where it happened. And when she was there, when she grew up, we never talked in baby language. So we talked like a normal human being, like an adult, not about politics or something. And even when she understood and could talk, we never did. It was always in a normal kind of way, as we would talk to friends. And I believe that she's that mature because one of these things we did, and how we spoke to her, how we have spoken to her. And the other thing is, I always try to encourage her that everything is possible. I want, because I'm so passionate about the mindset and leadership, um, I want to instill this belief: you can believe, you can, and there's nothing out there that can stop you. I mean, we live in Zurich, in Switzerland. We have everything you need. We have an infrastructure, we have security, we have food on the table. With the internet, you have the world on your finger. Um, there's no limitations except the limitations between her ears, you know, the limiting beliefs. And I always try to support her, and still do, and not not sugarcoating everything, not at all, but saying, I'm a positive uh, guy, you know. I always see the glass half full, always optimistic, and I focus on that. And even if there's something negative happening, negative grades, negative tests, whatever it may be, yeah, I don't shame her, I don't blame her, not at all, because there's no reason to do it. I mean, that's part of getting older, of growing and learning. And she needs to handle disappointments. She needs to handle discouragements, and I can't stop her from experiencing it, because she needs those kinds of experiences. Otherwise, she doesn't grow. I mean, she needs resistance in order to grow to a better person. And but what I also want simultaneously is to give her hope, to say, hey, that's a setback, okay, but what can we do about it? You know, to try to show her ways, that there's a way out of that situation, whatever it may be. That's the thing we want to do. And she's an accountability partner. I mean, even 2 years, 3 years ago, she was so analytical about the situation between my wife and myself, and said, "Wow!" And we looked at each other and said, "Our daughter, how old is she?" I was a baby compared to her when I was 17, really, and she's light years ahead regarding the mindset that I had when I was 17. So she's on a good track, on a good path, and yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's why. I mean, that's great because because when you understand self-development and when you understand how much of potential you hold, so I think it's very obvious for people to give it and like teach others also. And similarly, when you have your own daughter, so I think that was very obvious that you ingrained all of those things, and then you must have done that. So
But you know,
that
it's
is.
also the most difficult one, because if you're the prophet in your own country, your voice isn't heard. You know, that's an old saying: the prophet in your own country isn't heard. So I have to be very careful, because they say, "Yeah, you're into
Because
this,"
if
or
you have too much going on, then also they will be like, oh, okay, you are overdoing it probably. So I think that balance is always required.
yeah.
So I'm sure it's as difficult as that.
C'est la
But
vie. Yeah.
I would say that I would have been very glad if if my father or would like someone would have given me all these insights and say that it's all right, you're going to have setbacks in life, but do whatever you can, and you're going to be fine, and you're going to be just okay, but don't be too harsh on yourself. I think that's something that could be taught to a lot of children's out there, and things would be better, and we wouldn't have so many problems around us with social media and everything coming up. So I think that has just elevated the game and the
Yeah.
problems that we have. So so my question was, what do you think? You've done so much. You've written your book now, and then it's one of the bestsellers, and you've done your business, and then you've got a very good life now, and then you have so many goals also to achieve. What do you think? You always speak about legacy and impact. What does it look like, and what does it feel like when you're trying to achieve it?
What does it look like? As I said before, I don't need to possess a lot of things. I don't need to possess a castle or fancy cars or something like that. What I want to do, have the freedom of choice that I can say to my wife, hey, we live half year in Paris or half year at this beach, or we live wherever we want to live, and just create extraordinary moments, memories for our life. And to be surrounded by our friends and families. And that's the ultimate goal. And yeah, to die empty, but I said that earlier. Helping others is twofold. With the book and my social media activities, I'm happy if someone reads my posts or one post, and this is the the aha moment for this human being. It's like if you have a key or a locker with 10 digits, and my post was the last one, the 12th piece of the puzzle, and this was exactly this guy or this girl needed to unlock the vault, and then that's fulfilling. And if this happens, they give feedback as you did. And regarding other people, it's just through my network marketing business to change their lives tremendously, that they have food on the table, that they have more than food on the table, that they can become leaders themselves. And my mission is to install belief in other human beings, because the thing is, the major point is, people don't believe in themselves. They say, I'm not worthy. For example, when I wrote that chapter in the book, I said, me, who I am, why I, but there's no one, there's no instance, no authority who says, Peter, now you're ready to write a book. No, it's not the way it happens. You have to decide to do something, and helping other people believe. And the name of the chapter is really my overall topic. Believe you can, because you need to believe in yourself first. Believe you can do it. Believe that you have everything that's already needed. You just have to get the connection to this potential you have already inside of you. And we've never taught this at school, because there's always this certain system. You have to follow the rules. You have, of course, rules are good, but it's never said, hey, you have potential. It's always, yeah, in mathematics you have potential, in physics you have potential, but in music you don't have potential. But it's very narrow-minded. We already were born as winners. I mean, when you check out, when you've made it to the birth, you've already surpassed millions of other competitors. So you are a winner, you are a finisher right from the start, and a survivor. And you have all the potential as all human beings on planet Earth. And meanwhile, with the internet, you are able to step into this power. But the thing is, through society, through parents, it's not unlocked because they are not taught and they're not used to open their minds. And if I can help them to change their mind, to have this mind shift, then that's a blessing, and then I can help. That's the ultimate goal, to help them to inhale belief, because once they believe, they do all the actions necessary to get ahead. It's the same with the marathon. I said, hey, I want to run. There was not a question that I can't. There was total confidence, 100% certainty. I believed, yes, I run, I can. Why not? There was no question, why not? So that's it.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, I think the only thing that is holding on to that is holding on to our past, or whoever that we are, and when we are not living up to our potential, is actually the self-doubt that we speak into and we give power into. So the moment you have that lifted, and with a little bit of practice in habit development, I think everything is possible per se.
Yeah,
So that is something that everybody should start working on. Whatever it may be, it may be just cooking, or having a nice family, or maybe like getting a good car, or maybe like getting a good job and
yeah.
sending your family some money, or maybe putting making them travel that exotic vacation that you've been planning on. And I think everything is possible. It's just that what do you want is what you have to choose right now. So that is very important, and I'm pretty sure I had an amazing conversation with you, and I got so many insights that I can think about. Last something, if you can give us like maybe one line or two line as to how you can summarize your book, and what insights can we look for in a book, if you'll be able to give us.
Wow. I try to be short.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I understand it can be like pretty difficult.
um,
But what do you think the human?
One thing is, to address where I messed up, and the path or the recipe to get over it, to get to the other side, to say, okay, I've messed up and I made the decision not to give up, but to go after your dreams and goals. And I think there's the analogy with marathon, and I compare it to my financial mess in the corporate world, and how it's possible to get out of this toxic environment and misbehavior, and bad, not supporting habits. And that's actually in the chapter. There are many other authors with their experiences. It's really a recipe, many recipes for different kind of problems. And if just one author is helping you to overcome your obstacle, your actual situation, then it's worthwhile reading. But hey, it's not a promotion of
Okay,
the book,
so can
you
you?
know.
No, of course. But can you give us where can people find you in the book, and where all can we connect if they want to connect? Can you tell us about that?
um, yeah, the easiest way is to either you go to Facebook. I'm actually not sure what's my actual address in Facebook. I think official.Peter Music. I will see. Or you go to the website petermusic.com, or you go
Yeah.
to Beyond Success with petermusic.com. And then the last website is regarding the book, and there is a preview and the links and everything. But you can find me. I mean, Peter Music Switzerland, or Peter Music Swiss Zurich. There's only one.
Yes, and people should start reading your book
Or
because I'm pretty excited about that
and,
the insights that you've given us. They'll be able to find it in details, and I'm sure you can learn a lot from there.
yeah, and
So
there's another possibility. Just reach out to you and you give the details. Yeah, whatever.
yeah, that's I am always there to help. Thank you so much for having
Likewise.
this conversation. I had a great time, and I just cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Sonia, it was a pleasure, and I'm astounded about myself because I'm not usually talking that much. I mean, my wife encouraged me to talk more and more and more. I think that's natural, but
Now,
it's like a river. Yeah, it's just flowing.
yeah, now you can show her this video and say that now I've started talking.
I can talk. Yeah, I
So
will.
you can do that.
Sonia, it was fun and
Lovely.
pleasure, and
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
I could be of any help for you and your followers. And yeah, I mean, I'm really on my way. I'm absolutely not finished, and regarding my goals, I'm light years not behind. Yeah, maybe behind, but I'm on my way, and I think that's the most important part, that you are on your way and you really are focused, and nobody can stop you doing that. Yeah.